So what we need to do is to check back and find out where are they now. So do a good activity assessment, ask the secondary questions, find out what is really important to them, go through and find out what their military service was, what their careers were, what their values are, what their religious interests are. But ask that secondary question to find out what exactly under this category is important to you, and we'll bring it to you. We'll try to normalize your life. We'll teach you how to do things better or differently because you've had this care change, but doesn't mean that you aren't going to be able to do the things that you want to do. That's so important to impress upon them the fact that they are going to continue with their life. We want to give them good reasons and meaningful things to do so that their self-esteem is raised. And those are the important things that we want to do. We want to make sure that we set up an activity box for them that has the music and the type of music that they like, the television shows, the movies that they like, the reading material that they like. I also want you to bring in the self-directed activities that they have requested so that they can do those independently in their room. And you will find that they'll be a lot easier to work with, a lot happier. They aren't going to get depressed or not as depressed. Yeah, they're going to have concerns about the changes that they're going through, but these are all ways that we can help them normalize their life and accept their new life if there are changes that they can't make. But they can still do the same stuff that they did, they're just going to do it differently. So look at the adaptive equipment, the self-directed independent things that we want to offer them. The other way that we can always keep this going is always do rounds. Check in the morning when you deliver mail, ask how they're doing. Ask if they're expecting any letters. Is the newspaper okay, or do they want to go online and look at the news on the TV set or on their iPad? We want to check and make sure that they have the equipment that they need and that it's working well. We want to make sure that they're getting visits from families or support groups that are important to them. The example of playing football and who wants to come in and watch it and have ice cream with me, all those things are important to people. We want to motivate them as much as we can, but we want to make sure it's what they want. And we can adapt our schedule in the medical model to make sure that they can go to this group or only miss a little part of this group by working with the rest of the team to make sure that this is happening. This all depends on how well we're going to communicate. That's why it's important for you to write that narrative. It's important for you to set up the activity boxes. It's important for you to go back and check with people to make sure they haven't had any changes. So those are the things that are important to do to get to be person-centered. But it all starts with a good interview, a good assessment, the secondary questions to find what is really important to these people, and then setting it up, putting it in the room, or doing the rounds to provide it to them frequently so that they can have a change in the music. They can have a change of the type of movies that they watch, or the books or magazines that we bring, or the crafts that we bring down to them. Also, we want to make sure if they choose to be social and they want to be social, that we invite them to the groups, the high-level empowerment groups of arts and crafts, or discussion groups, or poetry groups, or political discussion groups that they would enjoy, travelogues. If they have any special interest that they want to share, do they want to come and tell us what their trip to Hawaii was like and what they learned when they went down the Amazon, or what they learned when they went to Salem to a cooking group, or do they know how to do Tai Chi and what kind of Tai Chi exercises have been important in improving their health currently. All these things. Every person you're going to meet is different. Every person you're going to meet has something that they really enjoy to do. They may not have the confidence right now to do it, but it's our job to be able to help them do it. It also is our job to communicate this to the rest of the staff. So very often I'd like you to help once we get the boxes set up, the interviews are done, and we've had the narrative written, we want to cue people and say, hey, did you know so-and-so likes? Or they really enjoyed doing this. Did they look at that movie that I gave them? Or they may come back and say, no, they didn't like that movie at all. They really wanted this kind of a movie. Okay, they have now given us feedback, and we've communicated between ourselves and the staff what is important to this person. One of the greatest things that you can do to help get this started are two things. Have centers set up in your building where activities are available. And if they get mixed up a little bit or things get lost, don't worry about it, just replace them. We need to have areas out in our building where people can go and do what they enjoy doing or get music that they enjoy having. So you want to have activity centers, whether it's in the dining room or whether it's off of the lobby, bookcases where people can pull out and look for a National Geographic magazine, or they can look for a flower magazine or a cooking magazine, or a boating magazine, or an airplane, or a hunting magazine. We want to have these things available for people to do and to have. And the second thing that we want to do, in order to keep this intact and keep these programs going, check for the changes. Check to make sure what they have in their activity box is what they want. The other thing that I want you to do is do the rounds. In your activity cart, pull out these boxes that have the magazines. Offer new magazines to people. Round with the activity cart and offer new things to them. Or offer new craft in the bags for them. But round with them frequently. And the other thing, when you bring around the ice cream trolley or the alcohol, fine wine trolley, the snack cart that you have set up, whatever you have on that snack cart, whether it's root beer floats or fake wine or the near beers, make sure that you ask, is there anything else I can bring you? What else would you like to do? Talk with them personally. Ask them what they want. We want to do a lot of social talk with them. That's very important to do. And make sure that you're rounding frequently, asking what they want, or bringing them new things. Hey, I thought you might like to try this. And they will think, oh, wow, she thought I might like that. Gee, maybe I will like that. I will try it. Okay, maybe they'll say, nah, that's not for me. That's okay. But it was the fact that they were asked to come down to the group because we wanted their company, or they were asked, do you want to do this, to make them feel important, because they are important. We are all important individuals. We all have gifts to provide for each other. So that pretty much concludes what person-centered care is. Remember, it's got to be a good assessment with secondary questions. Set up that activity box, find out what they really want to do. Make sure that you review it so that they do it again. Make sure that your staff knows. Ask the staff, what did they do? Check in with the staff. I like to play a game with the staff is, did you know? Did you know? What 3 things can you tell me about this person? Did you know? Did you know that they like this, they like this, they like this? Oh, did you also know that they did this? What 3 things did they done in their life that's important to them? This, this, and this. Go around and ask your staff to be aware what is important. Is it important that they get to bingo? Is it important that they come to church? Is it important that they stay in their room and watch their own TV or watch their own sports together? What is important? What did they do in their life that is important to them? So always I want you to be able to go around and do this quiz game with the staff, and you'll be surprised as they talk to the staff a little bit more, they're going to tell you, hey, did you know they really want to do this instead? That's great information. We need to accept that. We need to make the change in the care plan so that we are doing the person-centered care, or we need to know that we are addressing a cultural difference that is important to them. So those are the things that we need to do. We need to always be in constant communication. So play that game with people. Did you know? Find out. Find out what they know about that person that you didn't know. So those are the important things that I want you to put in place so that you have person-centered care. Also look at the adaptive tapes so that you can set up things that people can do more comfortably. And make sure you do the activity boxes. And make sure that you check back. And you get a lot less of resistance. You get a lot fewer refusals because you're doing what they want, when they want it, and how they want it to be done, as much as we safely can to make their lives better and to make working with the staff easier. There have been some very interesting statistics that have shown that when we have person-centered care, so let me just end with this so that I can share that information with you about the person-centered care. Did you know that when you have person-centered care in your building, the regular routine medication is reduced by 11%. They have done studies now, and the PRN reduction is by 19% because they have person-centered care. They feel valued as a person. They have input to how their care is going to be given to them, when it's going to be given to them. This is what is all so important. We have a reduction in, this is important for the nurses department, a reduction in the use of medication for bowel management by 40% when we're using person-centered care. 50% increase in resident activity levels and more than 100% increase in social interaction because we're doing social talk with them instead of task talk all the time. These are the things that are important. The other thing that is very important for cultural change is have the buildings look, and most of our buildings do this now, but we always can do it a little bit better, and that is have those activity centers out where people can go to them and get stuff when they need it. You'll be amazed how many people are going to wake up in the middle of the night and want something to do because they can't go back to sleep. That's when your self-directed activities that you've passed out will be important. Or if they're going to get up, go down to the dining room and start a jigsaw puzzle or put in a movie. Those things are important. That's all about making our environments home-like and comfortable, just as if they were at home. Those things are important. This study was done by the Institute of Quality and Improvement for Long-Term Care. And one of the things that they also found out when they had person-centered care and cultural change in their building, having the residents give them input about what they want or their actual cultural preferences, they found out that they were able to reduce by 33% the PRN medications and had a reduction in anxiety and depression in nursing homes when they had person-centered care and cultural change communities. Sometimes, too, they need to have independent things that they're doing. And if you can, people that want to do things that are independent, we want to set up alternative things that they can do in or outside of the building. Now, another thing that happened when they did this, alternative activities, not always things that are scheduled on the board, but they also found that there was a 60% reduction in absenteeism of the staff because the staff reported back when I did person-centered care or cultural preference care, they had less resistance. So the staff was more apt to come in and work with people. That's another reason why it's important. Here's another very interesting one that I found in that study, and that was that there was a 60% reduction in in-house decubitus ulcers because they were sitting up in the bed, instead of just laying in the bed, they were actually sitting up in the bed and doing things or engaging in conversations. This person-centered care is not just a nice thing to do, it's an important thing to do for the quality of their life. So I'd like you to remember that. That's what this is all about, their quality of life. It's all about making the residents easier to work with because we're providing input to their care by having person-centered care. Thank you for joining me this afternoon. If you have any other ideas that you'd like to contribute, we'd love to have them part of our programming here, part of our tapes that we're offering to help people improve their skills and some secret methods of how to get things done better. Thank you for joining us this afternoon, and we will offer more tapes up. Please go to our website, www.Oregon Activity Professionals, Oregon Dementia Professionals. Also, please know that you can go to our YouTube site and see all these tapes for free. Thank you for joining us.